KT7 up here. Today, I will review and showcase 142P from the NieR collaboration. She is an Earth evasion unit with very high crit rate. She also has a 50% AoE resistance in peril and can perform follow-up attacks for herself. With her high speed and movement, she can disrupt your enemy's buffing orders and cause havoc. Judging from my NieR overview video, she seems to be the more popular unit. Let's see if she can live up to the hype. 2P is a 90 cost Earth unit with a unique main job that can equip fists, cloths, and hats. Her TMR is an accessory. The stats are 182 HP, 6 defense, 13 evasion, and 10 crit rate. The ability is a self-buff, giving the user reaction block rate of 50 and HP regen small for 3 turns. Her base stats are just okay. 3471 HP is quite high for an evasion unit. Her agility is 58 with 8 more from the board, which is still a little low. But she has a support ability that can boost it by 12%. Including all the board stats, her luck is at 290 and 27 evasion, which are lower than Halloween Lucio. But her weapon enables her to constantly buff her evasion. And just like all other NieR units, she has 2 jump and the typical 3 move. Her attack type resistances are 20 to slash, 15 to strike, neutral to missile, and 10 to magic. Her only negative is to pierce, at -10. Having +10 to magic is really good for an evasion unit, as there are some magic attackers that have nasty sure hits. Her ailment resistances are 50 to paralyze, 50 to confusion, and 10 to berserk. I highly recommend giving her resistance to charm and stop. Next, her master ability and 140 upgrades. From her master ability, she gets 10 AoE resistance and 10 crit rate. At level 140, she gets 15 evasion and 10 strike penetration. Also upgrade to her job 12 ability to improve the AoE range from a cross shape to a square shape. Now let's look at her fist weapon. This is an event item, just complete the mission and you will be rewarded with it. It comes as crit type. The ability is strike attack 15. And for 2P only, she also gets strike penetration 20, plus 10 evasion to strike type attacks, and increase her evasion by 10 for 1 turn after landing a crit hit. This plus 10 evasion buff will stack with her active buffs. This is the best weapon for her, and this is how she gained more evasion mid-fight. Let's quickly go over the black box item from the raid. The dodge type is best for her if you don't have the +6 winter coat. Moving over to her support abilities. Support number 1 is required on her at all times. It gives her attack 24%, defense penetration 40, and 15 crit rate. Her support ability number 2 has a new mechanic. It gives her 12 AoE resistance, and the following effect. When her HP drops below 70% and she takes a non-attacking turn, she will recover large amount of HP once per battle. Non-attacking turn means she only moved for that turn, or she used a buff, or any non-damage dealing abilities, such as Steel Heart or Steel Vision. This could be useful in second Guild War fights. If she ended the first fight with less than 70% of HP, then she is very likely to receive this heal on the first turn of the second fight. Other than that, it is quite rare for it to go off. Her main job reaction is reflex against slash and strike type attacks. And it has a 20% proc chance. This is her best reaction ability. These are the 2 pods from the NieR events. I have already gone over this a couple times, so I won't spend too much time on them. Be sure to farm multiple copies of Pod 042 and complete the mission for Pod 153. Now let's look at her limit burst. It is a unit attack, has a range of 4. Before damage, lower target strike resistance by 38 for 3 turns, then deals a 3-hit large damage. Strike resistance in peril and multi-hits are very good, especially on a full strike team. Next, let's go over her buffs. The first one is a group buff and has the highest AI priority, granting the group attack up 40%, AP consumption down 30%, and 20 defense. Also a 3x 50% physical damage barrier for 2P. An AoE AP consumption down buff is really good. Her second priority ability is a self buff. Gives her evasion 25 and crit rate up 25 for 3 turns. Also gives her a 3-turn follow-up attack on all her attacking abilities. First dispel protect, then deal extra small damage. That's not all. It also grants her an additional reaction ability for 3 turns. Counter attack after evading. The range is 4 and range height of 1. It has a 100% proc chance, and it works with her reflex. This is basically the same as evade counter from Violet. Both of her buffs are very good and important to her overall performance. Now let's go over her attacks. The first one on the list is a square shape AoE up to 5 panels away. It moves her to the target's panel. Before damage, lower their AoE resistance by 50% for 3 turns. Then deals damage medium. And after the attack, increase her unit attack resistance by 25 for 3 turns. This is her signature ability. She can jump into the enemy's group early in the fight and cause chaos. The 25 unit attack resistance gives her some survivability while being surrounded by the enemies. The second attack on the list is a unit attack. Before damage grants her the sure hit effect for 3 turns. Then deals damage medium and dispel all active buffs from the target. After using this ability, all her attack will be sure hits for the next 3 turns. This is very strong and you can basically disregard her accuracy. Attack number 3 is her low AP ability. It is also a unit attack. Only has 2 range, deals damage small and lightning killer. Attack number 4, her job level 25 ability. It is also a unit attack, the range is also 2. Before damage, increase her defense penetration by 40 for this attack. Breaks physical damage barrier, then deals a 2-hit medium damage. And if this attack is a critical hit, she will then lower the surrounding enemy's CT by a small amount. The range of the effect is also 2, with a range height of 1. The translation of this effect is jamming. The jamming effect can work really well with her attack number 1. She get into the enemy's group, then use this ability on her following turn, and lower the enemy's CT. That's all for her main job. Let's move on to her main job sub. The first ability is a cross-shape AoE attack up to 4 panels away. First deal medium damage, and has a 25% chance to stun. The second ability is a 3-hit unit attack, deals medium damage, and lower target's agility on crit hits. And it has a range of 2. Her main job sub is not a bad choice for more strike chaining. I recommend it for a full strike team. Moving on to her Axe Knight sub. The support abilities are Axe Knight Lore and Chivalric Metal. Axe Knight Lore gives her 24% attack and AP consumption down 25%. This is not a bad ability, but with 2P, I typically like to give her higher movement. Chivalric Metal is more defensive, gives her max HP 12% and elemental chain resistance of 40. Not bad, but I don't recommend it. The reaction ability is Willing Protector. 30% chance to increase 40 AoE resistance of all allies standing within a 2 panels radius of her. This is a good one, but reflex is better. The 2 notable abilities are Shifting Smash and Sleeper Sweep. Shifting Smash is another attack that will move 2P into the enemy's group. Sleeper Sweep can inflict sleep. I recommend to run Axe Knight on her when she is teamed up with Bradley and or Halloween Lucio. She doesn't get Axeman's Ward, so no HP barrier for her. The other sub job she has is Thief. The support abilities are Thief Lore and Acquired AP Up. Thief Lore increase her movement by 1 and 12% agility. This is the one I like on her the most. With this equipped, she can get up to 120 agility. And having higher movement can help her jump into the enemies much sooner. However, move +1 could sometimes put her in attack range before she can cast her follow-up attack buff. The reaction ability is Quick Action. 20% chance to increase her own agility by 40% after taking a hit. The 2 notable abilities from Thief are Steel Heart and Steel Vision. The AI will use these 2 abilities if she runs out of AP mid-fight. And if you have the main job support number 2 equipped, it could recover her HP. That's her full kit. Now let's look at her Vision card. It is a free card from the raid. Do the raid and the VC quests, be sure to max it before it goes away. The card supports Sword Knight, Axe, Fist and Katana. The stats are HP 388, Attack 131, and 15 Luck. The party abilities are Magic Resistance 24, Attack 40%, and Dex 35%. The bestowed effects are Attack 10% and Evasion 10. This card is basically the same as the FFVIII Vision card. The 15 Luck stat is very helpful for 2P as she does not have a 42% Luck VC. Magic Resistance 24 is really good, and the 35% Dex will help her crit more. The Holo ability and VC mastery are for quests only. Acquired AP up 50%, missile resistance 3, and acquired JP up 25%. These are actually really good for PvE. More AP and more job points. Next her equipments, Espers, and Truststones. The event fist weapon is her best choice. 20 strike penetration and increase her evasion rate on crit hits are just perfect. In the second slot, the winter coat is her best armor. It has high evasion rate and 10 light resistance to help her survive Helena. The black box dodge type is not a bad choice if you don't have a +6 of the winter coat. In the TMR slot, Lucio boots is the best in my opinion. It has 10 evasion and 7 agility. Yuffie's TMR is a good choice as well. It has 15 evasion but no agility. The ability can boost her luck. But it is very rare that she gets to cast a third buff before going into attack range. Ketone's TMR is also a nice choice for the stats. Now her Espers. The Dark Odin is the best choice. 18 agility, 22 evasion, and 25 man-eater. These are just everything 2P wants. The man-eater can increase her follow-up damage. Dark Ifrit is also a top-tier evasion Esper, but it does not have man-eater. Regular Tetra is also good for evasion. Lastly her Truststones. For evasion units, I always go with luck and agility. Some people like dodge set more. It does give 2P a couple % higher evasion rate, but she would lose out on some crit evasion. All the abilities are listed here with the equipments showing at the bottom. Be sure to give her charm resistance, and if possible, stop resistance as well. The right side is pretty straightforward, crit rate is the most important one to have. Next sample teams. The first team is the Template Earth Evasion team with Halloween Lucio and Bradley. Next to her luck and evasion stats, I have also put what would be the max reincarnation stats here for 2P. The evasion rate difference is about 30%. It is very significant. 2P is on our Axe Knight sub for some slash type damage to chain. Main sub support ability 1. And Thief Lore for higher agility and +1 move. I also gave her Reflex, because it is the best. With Thief Lore equipped, her agility is at 121. She is very likely to be the fastest unit on the field. Just keep in mind, having movement of 4 could sometimes put her in attack range before she can cast her follow-up attack buff. The concept of this team is very simple. Boosting the team's luck and evasion as much as possible. If you don't have Halloween Monster VC, it could be difficult. The 10% luck from the bestowed effect is very good on her. The best replacement on GL is the Zazan card, that gives 9% luck to the whole group in the sub slot. If you don't have either of them, you can use the MRVC, Birth of a New Life, it has 10% luck for the group. On 2P, the Eleficaris has 10 man-eater from the bestowed effects, it is great for her to boost her follow-up attack damage. The other VC I want to bring attention to is the Solitary Lion. It is very important to put his card on the team, so Lucio and Bradley has more slash penetration. I have included a few alt VC at the lower left corner. Halloween Lucio's card does not work with 2P, but you can still put it in the sub slot to boost Lucio and Bradley's luck. Bradley can be the accurate unit, or give him Locke's TMR to cast the luck buff. The second team I have prepared is Hasted Earth Evasion team with Lucio and Renoa. I haven't tried this team, but faced a bunch of them during the last CM. It was quite scary when 2 Hasted Evasion units are running at you. Especially when the Lucio has Oberon's TMR to prevent the opponent from using haste for 1 turn. You can replace Renoa with other Earth Mage units. Both of the evade attackers are kind of bulky. Running them alongside with a healer can be very frustrating for your opponent. The third team is for those who are not building 2P for evasion. I don't recommend this team, but if you are a 2P fan and don't have all the evasion cards, this is an option. The FMA card can give her higher crit rate, crit damage, and attack. This team relies on the crit rate and follow-up attacks from 2P. Instead of Thief Lore, I gave her Axe Knight Lore for max damage. The third unit on this team could be another physical attacker, it doesn't have to be Bradley. The last team I have prepared is Strike 3.0 with Alaya and Dark Ketone, or Perrine. All the units have strike penetration and multi-hits. Both 2P and Ketone have follow-up attacks, so the Man-Eater VCs are must. Also, Ketone has a percentage down strike resistance and peril. She is quite important to this team. My Ketone is only at level 115. I will feature this team again in her 140 showcase. Now her weapon group. Strike teams have died down for a bit. Strike penetration is still at a lower level. But with Ketone and her weapon, I can see this group making a comeback. In terms of VCs, they are more than ready. There are many options to choose from. I was hoping Ketone would be an evasion unit and bring a 42% luck card for this group. But I guess that would be too OP for now. Maybe Strike 4.0. Now my final thoughts on 2P. As an evasive attacker, her kit is awesome. Her evasion rate is just below Lucio's, but her unique weapon will buff her evasion after landing crit hits. She also has a physical damage barrier which can help her survive high accuracy units and physical sure hits. Her magic resistance is also pretty good. Most Helena and Vivi cannot one-shot her. Even though she does not have nullify sure hit, but her survivability is good enough to withstand a couple hits. Offensively, she is really an android. She has a 3-turn self follow-up attack that can dispel protect. Combined with her high crit rate, it can deal some huge damage. She also has a 3-turn sure hit effect. She won't have any accuracy issues. Also in her arsenal is a general dispel, physical barrier break, strike resistance and peril from her LB, a 50% AoE resistance and peril, and can lower enemies' CT after crit hits. In my near priority list, I put her a tier below A2 and Lucio. And I stand by that decision. Evasion units require a lot of reincarnations in the current state of the game. She still performs pretty well without any, but she won't be evading much against units like A2. Also, not having a 42% luck card is a huge setback for her. If you have the resources to invest in her, she can last for a very long time. Give her lots of man-eater, and she will thrive in both mono-earth and full strike teams. After 2P, new Lucio's showcase is next. I will have it uploaded before the banner drops. Now let's go to sample matches. The first match of the day is the new light team against Earth Evasion. 2P first action, group buff. For 3 turns, grants the group attack up 40%, AP consumption down 30%, and defense up 20%. Also gives herself a 3 times, 50% physical damage barrier. Second action, self buff. For 3 turns, evasion and crit rate up 25. Perform follow-up attack to her abilities. And additional reaction to counter after evade. That's her job level 12 ability. Move to target's panel, lower opponent's AoE resistance 50% for 3 turns, then deals medium damage. After the attack, increase her unit attack resistance by 25 for 3 turns. She also increased her evasion by 10 for 1 turn, because she landed a crit hit. That's the ability from her weapon. That's the job 12 ability again. She likes to jump around. This is her 3-turn sure hit effect ability. First grant her the sure hit effect for 3 turns, then deals damage medium and dispel target's buffs. The second match of the day is against Mono Ice. A disclaimer, this ice team is not built for accuracy. By the way, you can check out my A2 showcase video if you haven't already. 2P always start off with her group buff. Grants the group attack up 40%, AP consumption down 30%, and defense up 20%. Also gives herself and 3 times 50% physical damage barrier. Second turn, self buff. Evasion and crit rate up 25, and additional reaction ability to counter after evade. Both for 3 turns. Grants her 3 times follow-up attack to her abilities. Reflex from 2P. Reflex also counts as a successful evade, so she will counter attack. Her counter is a critical hit, so evasion up 10 for 1 turn. That's her job level 25 attack. Before damage, increase her defense penetration by 40 for 1 turn. Breaks target's physical damage barrier, then deals a 2-hit medium damage. Since there was a critical hit, it triggered the jamming effect. Lower the CT of surrounding enemies. Dodge Jaden's LB, then counter-attack. Followed by her job level 12 attack. Move to target's panel, lower opponent's AoE resistance 50% for 3 turns, then deals medium damage. After the attack, increase her unit attack resistance by 25 for 3 turns. The third match of the day is against Black Mages plus Raph. This is a very tough matchup for evasion units, but I bought Melnia. She can remove re-raise from range, a great unit to go up against this team. Evasion and crit rate up on her second turn. Plus evade counter for 3 turns. All 3 of my opponent's unit has sure hit. This is not a favorable matchup for 2P. Her job level 25 attack. Increase her defense penetration by 40 for 1 turn before damage. Breaks target's physical damage barrier, then deals a 2-hit medium damage. Plus the jamming effect. Lower the CT of surrounding enemies. Double Darka from Vivi took 50% of her HP. She then revenged with her sure hit effect attack. Took out Vivi and KO'd him 1 more time with her follow-up attack. Melnia is slightly evasive with this build, but don't count on her to dodge multiple times. I have one more match featuring a full strike team. In a full strike setup, 2P is not very evasive, but she does have higher attack and crit damage. I will revisit Strike 3.0 in my Ketone video. I hope you guys are enjoying the NieR collaboration. It is bringing some positive energy back to the community. That's all I have for today. Thank you for watching. Have a good one.
壊す。